Well, good evening. Thank you for letting me interview you regarding Erikson's psychosocial stages of development. The purpose of this interview is for you to demonstrate your understanding of the theory and how the theory applies to you and students you currently teach or plan to teach. Can we start with you stating your name and the date?
Hi, my name's Joel Bunifay. The date is April 13th, 2019.
Okay. The first question says, imagine I've never heard of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. Briefly explain salient features of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development and what is the source of this information.
Well, in the Slavin text, Educational Psychology, Erikson theorized that people move through 8 stages of development, from birth to death. These stages can be characterized by resolution of crisis. For example, infants are in stage 1, from like 1 to 18 months old, and they are learning to trust their caregivers, and they are attempting to figure out how much they can trust others to meet their needs. The other 7 stages are also about people's interaction with others, and they also revolve around some kind of resolution of a crisis.
Thank you. The second question asks, at what stage of development do you see yourself now, and why do you think so?
Well, I'm in middle adulthood, or Erikson's 7th stage, generativity versus self-absorption. I say this based both on my age, mid-40s, and my situation in life as a married man and a teacher and coach. This stage is all about the next generation, and that's what I do.
The third question asks, explain how being at this stage of development may influence your behavior and outlook in your classroom, and on what do you base this explanation?
Well, Erikson says that this stage is generally resolved through the raising of one's own children, but can also be resolved through teaching or coaching or mentoring. I myself do not have any children, but I have mentored or coached for many years, and I get a great I feel like I get that resolution through that effort. In teaching, I will be focusing on stretching my creativity and stretching myself and creativity. I'm basing this on the Slavin readings.
Identify at what level your students are or are likely to be at in Eriksson stages.
Okay. As an elementary school teacher, I will need to be mindful of the stage of my students as they grapple with Erikson's stage 4 industry versus inferiority, where can be kind of characterized as searching for success and stuff like that. But as a high school wrestling coach, however, I work with students that are in stage 5, which is identity and role confusion, which is so much, quite different than actually stage 4, in that they're much less likely to be to try and impress you, and they more want to do their own thing, So those two conflicts in life are going to be tough, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Question 5 asks you to explain how being at this stage of development might influence your students' behavior and outlook in your classroom, and on what do you base this explanation?
Well, Erikson's stage 4 students are beginning to identify more as individuals in the classroom and less as children of their parents. This is even more pronounced with the stage 5s wrestlers that I have. Students and athletes are looking for success to create a healthy sense of self-esteem and for an identity. So I'll want to include projects-based learning opportunities and chances for students to make choices. From what I have read in Slavin's, this should all allow my students and wrestlers to resolve their stage crises in a healthy way that helps them to grow.
Question 6 asks, what might be some disconnects between you and your students, keeping the stage differences in mind.
Yeah. Well, there are so many stages in between me and, for instance, a kindergartner. So it will be my responsibility to both exercise self-care and continue to grow and be creative as a middle adult, stage 7, while also helping my students have success and forge their own identities in the stages 4 and 5.
Any final comments?
Well, I guess my final comments would be that it's Erikson's theories are kind of hard to prove and shouldn't really be taken as the gospel of psychology, but that they are a good basis for understanding different levels of education and should be taken as that, not necessarily like try to do case studies on each student you have, and just be mindful of where your kids are. Maybe you have a young kid that's actually 7 that's still stage 1 or 2 in their mind, so you'd have to be mindful of that, especially if you're interested in like special ed or anything like that. Thank you.
Thank you.